morning, afternoon, evening, night. Whenever you're watching this, I hope you've been having a great freaking day. What up? It's Christian and welcome to another God of War Ragnarök video. This one is finna take me a long time to make, so make sure you like and comment, so that way the millions of God of War fans can see it, my brother. And here is a little sneak peek of a work in progress animation, animated by Jeremy. I'll leave his Twitter in the description below. We know nothing of Odin. Odin's plan is the biggest threat the father and son duo will have to face aside from the twilight of the gods. It cannot be stressed enough just how sharp-witted and perceptive the AllFather is, and just how little we know about him. Although Mimir was his right-hand man, Odin mostly kept to himself, concerning himself with the matters he deemed important.
Yeah, he's like a old man who's just kind of busy with his own things and doing whatever he wants, and he doesn't live in a castle or anything like that.
He is without a doubt the smartest god Kratos and Atreus will encounter. There is nearly nothing about the world he does not know. He sacrificed so much to find a way to prevent his death come Ragnarök. He sacrificed an eye to see everything in the world, hung himself from the world tree for 9 days to plunge Yggdrasil for its secrets, killed Groa the knowledge keeper to look into her library freely, orders Hugin and Munin to survey the realms and relay all that they have seen back to him, and even has other phantom ravens stationed and patrolling certain areas of all the realms, and now even possibly in the realm between realms. Anything and everything the AllFather does is planned and meticulously calculated, weighing dozens of possible courses of action, always thinking about the future and not the moment. Building up to Odin's plan. We first start hearing a little bit about Odin's plan when Kratos activates the bridge to Jotunheim, atop where Mimir is being imprisoned.
All this time I thought I needed you. But you're just meat. Turns out the boy is the brains.
What is it about Atreus that Odin wants, to where he'd set Atreus as a priority over Kratos? Well, it all has to do with the prophecy of Loki, the Jotun inside of him. In the reveal trailer, Atreus talks about wanting to find out who he is, more specifically, his giant heritage.
My story doesn't end hiding in these woods. I should be out there, finding out who I am, who Loki is.
And in Lore and Legends, a physical book of Atreus' journal, he writes about how he dreams of the light of Alfheim, and feels that his father lied to him when he said his mother was not in the light. He also had a vision of Thor visiting their home. How many other visions has Atreus had that he isn't writing in his journal or telling his father? Because he knows Kratos won't believe him, or if he speaks about them, they may no longer come true. Odin's plan. What I'm about to relay to you is his grand ploy. The first step is to separate the two. Odin orders Thor to journey to Kratos' and Atreus' home. The Giant Slayer will create a false conversation of a non-violent solution with Kratos. However, Thor's true reason is to size up Kratos and see what he has in his arsenal. Then, when he sees the perfect moment, he'll lunge at the God of War and fight him. Their clash will inevitably lead to them crashing in the Lake of Nine, where they'll continue to fight. A large chunk of time will pass, and all throughout Atreus waits impatiently, afraid to be alone. Atreus will believe his father has returned home from his battle and thinks he only has enough strength left to knock. Out of desperation, he opens the door and sees the king of the Aesir. Odin will introduce himself, and rightfully so, Atreus draws his bow. But with magic, the bow, his knife, and any other weapon in his vicinity becomes useless. The AllFather will tell Atreus about Ragnarök, the prophecy of him, Loki, Kratos' death, and other sensitive and forbidden information. Rightfully so, Atreus will heavily doubt and refuse to believe anything an Aesir god has to say, let alone the king of them, claiming everything he says are just baseless claims in order to make Atreus a slave to Odin, a slave to do what he wants because he cannot. But Atreus is aware that this may be the only opportunity he has to talk to the king of the Aesir. As always, the AllFather has prepared and relays more information about Atreus only he would know. Dumbfounded and stumped, Atreus continues to listen. He informs Atreus that there is indeed no way to stop Ragnarök, but that there is a way to reduce the amount of innocent life to be lost. That Atreus must start Ragnarök, quickly explaining everything Atreus must do, the main objective to cast the wolves into the heavens, that in doing so, Atreus will die, but his father will live. Atreus once again doubts, exclaiming that he is only using him to control Skoll and Hati. So the All-Father then asks Atreus to agree to form a blood pact between them, that if any harm that was done to one would befall the other. With the assurance of both keeping their word, Atreus agrees. However, regardless, the All-Father was going to make the blood pact. Thereafter, Odin returns to Asgard with the aid of Heimdall and the Bifrost. Atreus absorbs everything he was just told and comes to the decision that he will do this whether or not his father will accompany him. Realizing this is the best for the 9 realms and would give Loki a purpose, and ultimately upon dying, he would be reunited with his mother. More time passes and eventually Kratos returns home and Atreus tells him of the journey he wishes to go on to discover himself, but hiding the true reason. Kratos pleads, but to no avail. Loki has his mindset, and nor does he need help. With no choice, the god of war follows. Ultimately, in the end, when the wolves devour the sun and moon and Ragnarök happens, Odin, alongside all of the Aesir gods and any Aearn who are left, kill Kratos. In the meanwhile of this battle to kill the ghost of Sparta, Freya will be tasked to cast a spell to knock Atreus unconscious. Upon a return to Asgard, the All-Father then tells Freya to remove the blood pact. She refuses to do so, knowing Odin would only want to remove it to cause harm to him or to use Loki to his advantage. He then removes Freya's warrior spirit once again as a means to force her to uncast the spell, and further threatens if she does not, she will not be able to see Balder in the afterlife. Consumed with the hope of seeing her son again, she complies. After a strenuous use of Vanir magic, she drops to her knees, exhausted. Finally, the All-Father rids himself of his second to last tie, of Freya. With her too weak, the tyrant effortlessly binds his ex-wife and then uses the same mistletoe that killed Balder and drives it into her neck. Then, with the help of many gods, Atreus will be brought to a cave, where he will be fastened to 3 rocks by iron chains. Then the All-Father will place a poisonous snake above Loki, torturing him into giving the secrets of their entire journey, how to get into Jotunheim, everything about Kratos' lost Greek weapons, and anything else the All-Father deems important. And once he is satisfied, he will kill Loki and begin his war on the other 8 realms to rule them all. Odin's manipulation and mind games. Aside from talking about Odin's plan, I also want to discuss what he said.
You don't really want war, do you, Kratos? All that blood on your hands, on your son's hands.
This dialogue could be interpreted or taken in multiple different ways, either in the literal sense that Odin doesn't want war, that Odin is jabbing at Kratos' past of destroying Greece, or that he doesn't want a foreign god to be participating in this pantheon's ultimate war. And for a fourth reason is when Odin says, all that blood on your hands, on your son's hands. It could be a double entendre, and that he's not only talking about Ragnarök, but about the fact that Kratos destroyed Greece, and how Atreus can destroy the 9 realms blinded by rage just the same. And for the other scene.
What do you even know of God's word? In your lifetimes, has anyone ever worshipped you? Ever prayed to you? Can you even imagine that kind of love? No! You don't care about anything beyond yourself. Beyond the monster who kills without cause.
The tone in his delivery of it once again can be interpreted in multiple different ways. He could most obviously be asking it in a literal sense, trying to mock him again, but the most plausible reason, to make Kratos doubt if he has been a good god, a good parent. Kratos has been worshipped and prayed to by his beloved brothers, his Spartans. So for Odin to say he has not been worshipped is proof that this is a jab to make Kratos doubt the few actions he deemed good. But the line that will test him most of all will be, "You don't care about anything beyond yourself, beyond a monster who kills without cause." There is no question that Kratos' life in Greece will flash before his eyes as the AllFather utters these words. It truly is just so fascinating to analyze his any and every action, because throughout Fimbulwinter and Ragnarök, we will truly never know if he is sincere or not, until it is proven to us in another manner. That's what makes him so dangerous. He'll emotionally and mentally ruin you, rather than break you physically. Fan fiction. Here is another less likely way of how I believe the AllFather has planned Ragnarök to play out in his way. The AllFather will send Forseti, the god of reconciliation and most importantly, justice. He will knock on their door and quickly Kratos will tell Atreus to stand back and to not come out under any circumstance. Answering the door, Forseti will seem polite and introduce himself, stating he is the Aesir god of justice and has come to claim what is rightfully Odin's, Mimir. Kratos will have a moment to consider his options. Will he refuse to do so and undoubtedly have Asgardian gods after him and his son soon after, or give up Mimir to a god who seeks to take his son as well? The god of war will answer no. Then with Odin lending Forseti the aid of magic, he will cast Mimir in his hands. With the Bifrost, he'll return to Asgard as Thor flies and pummels the god of war with punches. Seconds after, the god of war and god of thunder crash into a frozen lake of nine. As Kratos is distracted, Odin will knock on the cabin door. Atreus follows his father's orders, but Odin begins tempting Atreus with words. With it being so long since he's talked to anyone, he gives in to his curiosity. He answers the door. The king of the Aesir introduces himself. Atreus becomes stumbled and dumbfounded. Odin, knowing he is short on time, tells Atreus of Ragnarök, Kratos' death, and other forbidden knowledge. Rightfully so, Atreus dismisses everything as baseless claims, but Odin then backs everything up with information about conversations that only Kratos and Atreus would know. With little choice left, and fearing this may be the only opportunity he may ever talk to him, Atreus listens to Odin. He is told that there is one way to prevent everything, by making it so that Atreus makes Skoll and Hati chase the sun and moon, a Ragnarök that would lead to the least amount of life lost at war. Atreus will again doubt the ruler of the Nine Realms, claiming he is simply using him as a means to command the wolves because he cannot. And that is ultimately a trick to make it so that the AllFather will soon after have Kratos and Atreus killed. After the wolves are cast after their prey, Odin had a final ace up his sleeve. He informs Atreus of a blood pact that when cast, it will cement no harm will come to either of them, as if one were to kill Odin, Atreus would fall to the same fate, and vice versa. Atreus wonders if he should agree, but he is not given a choice, as thereafter the spell is cast, and a beam of light shoots in the air. By the Bifrost, Odin returns to Asgard. The fight with Thor ultimately leads to the Guardian Shield needing repair, and the Bifrost being broken. Upon returning home, he discovers Atreus is completely fine, but he tells his father that he must go on a journey, and an argument ensues. Not wanting the relationship he worked so hard to create to be destroyed, he follows his son while also fighting off Freya as she tries to kill both Kratos and Atreus, all the while giving Odin more time to scheme. At a forward point in their journey, the wolves are finally cast, beginning their long chase that tears through the sky. But then a Bifrost summons Atreus at Freya's camp. The AllFather then orders dozens of gods after Kratos, ultimately killing the Greek god of war. Then, after overseeing the battle and the dead body of a god of war, he'll return to Midgard to claim his prize. With Atreus ensnared, Odin forces Freya to remove the blood pact. With the spell undone, the AllFather removes Freya's warrior spirit and kills her, and returns to Asgard with Atreus, torturing him with venom drop by drop atop his face, with the goal to have him call the wolves back from their long chase. However, Ragnarök is unstoppable, and with resilience, Atreus endures the pain. The sun and moon are devoured, and the twilight of the gods begins. Fenrir breaks from his shackles and follows his father's scent and stands behind as they face the AllFather. In conclusion, Odin is ahead of everyone. He uses Freya and anyone else as a pawn and ultimately takes advantage of Atreus. His end goal? To kill both Kratos and Atreus. And with no threat, he will rule the 9 realms. I appreciate you for watching. If you haven't, make sure to watch my story trailer breakdown videos. One where I break down the story and the second a combat breakdown. My Kratos vs. Thor animations, theory videos, and a video where I make the God of War Fallen God comics come to life by adding the voice of Kratos, sound effects, and music, overall leading to a much more immersive experience. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, my brother, because remember this, we will make our own destiny.